to the Drunk Rasslin Lounge. I'm your host, J.M. McCaffrey, and I'm joined as always by the designated podcaster, Go Jonesy. Jonesy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I'm feeling very, very festive. We're in the heat of the holidays. We're right in the midst of Christmas. You got all your Christmas shopping done?
I got a lot of it done. A lot more than I usually have by this point.
Yeah. That's good.
The old Amazon special.
I got a present for you, Jonesy.
Oh.
I got a little.
Well, thank you.
I got you some.
I didn't get you anything though.
Black Velvet.
Oh yeah.
Blended Canadian whiskey.
Eh?
Eh?
Thanks, eh?
Thought we'd go ahead and do this our taster this week.
Yeah, man. Down.
And get it in there. You know, and also a little bit of backstory on the Black Velvet. I don't know if you remember. This is that Black Velvet was that caramel whiskey that we really liked.
Yeah.
So, because it wasn't, I mean, a lot of times, you know, the flavored whiskeys are super sweet and super, I mean, it was sweet, it was caramel, but it was caramel without losing its whiskiness, and it didn't taste like they had just poured a bunch of caramel syrup into it. You know,
which a lot of them taste like.
It was like a nice, smooth flavor.
Yes, it was.
So well.
Not too sweet.
Jonesy, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, brother. Cheers.
That's pretty good, actually.
Not bad at all, man.
Yeah.
You know, Black Velvet's also
smooth.
like an early 90s pop song.
Is it?
Yeah. I wish I remember the artist.
I don't remember that. It's smooth. It's definitely...
It's pretty smooth.
It's not as... I want to say sour, but that's not quite the right... It's not as sharp as Canadian whiskey is a lot of times.
So, yeah,
it's real bright.
Yeah.
And sometimes like that brightness in the Canadian whiskey comes through a little
overwhelms
too
it a little bit.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that it's not like Canadian Club, Crown Royal, like those are really, really smooth. This has a little bit more sting to it in my mind, but I dig it. I could drink this regularly.
Not bad.
Yeah. Caramel might have been better.
The caramel might have been. The caramel's definitely. I remember liking the caramel better. So, we're about to start just a little mini run for our Christmas episodes, our holiday seasons. We are going to watch the 1997 Starrcade, which was the long-anticipated Sting-Hogan match, finally. It had been a year and a few months of storytelling, all culminating in this one main event, right? Yeah, Sting not wrestling, Sting.
So Sting tried to help Team WCW at Fall Brawl, right? That's the Fall Brawl where Kurt Hennig slammed Flair's head in the cage, or was that the year before? Anyway, I don't remember.
Where he turned on the Horseman?
Right.
Hossman.
So we got that going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sting tries to help. Fake Sting shows up. Whole thing goes on. And Lex Luger, Sting's best buddy, doubts him. And so Sting's like, you know what? Screw y'all. I'm going home.
Yep.
And so he did.
Would you say he took his ball and went home?
Yes, he did. And his captain's jacket and Sting face paint and the whole deal. And then he returned as the Crow from the movie from the 90s.
all white face paint.
The mime-looking kind of face paint, the long black hair, long trench coat, carrying a baseball bat most times, and not speaking for a year and several months. And like the history of this, that WCW Sting was WCW's guy. I know, like they brought in all this talent. NWO ran roughshod over WCW for that entire run, that whole year and plus. Sting was WCW's homegrown guy, their guy that had never gone anywhere else, that was always there, always a babyface, and he was gone.
He was the franchise.
And he was gone. He was off TV. He would show up every now and again. And then in 97, he starts showing up a lot more. He's coming down out of the rafters, on a zip line, which is weird now. Really weird these years later.
Well... You can also see a big difference.
Sure.
I mean, he even then, before it would have been weird, he was pretty vested and hooked up when he came down. He was not.
Yeah, but you had like leading up to this, you had the moment where. So he drops in from the – I mean, there's 8 guys beating up DDP. Mm-hmm. He drops in right next to him on the floor, has a baseball bat, and has to fend these guys off so he can hook DDP to his harness, and they get brought right back up into the catwalk. You know,
man.
Well, DDP was just abducted.
Why didn't we watch?
We should have watched that one.
Why didn't we watch that Nitro?
Anyway, so
anyways.
Yeah, so we got this big run that's culminating in this Starrcade, and this main event is big because this is for the soul of WCW.
Right.
NWO has run it since July of '96. This is December '97. Think about the long-term storytelling, dude. That does not happen in wrestling anymore.
No,
and it probably didn't happen much prior to that.
Not the way it did here.
No, especially not weekly, man.
I mean, some guys, some territories liked what they call the inside baseball here. Some territories booked heat, which means the bad guys would win and win and win and win and always find a way, and they'd really drag it out so that by the time the good guy got to it, it would explode,
Right.
Like you really built to that one reaction, but those reactions didn't come very well.
Right.
Some places conversely, some places WWE was always a babyface territory, so they had, they always had their Superman, whether it was Bruno or Backlund or
Hulk.
Hogan. They'd always been and I would probably argue still are to this day. They are always looking for that Superman.
Yeah.
They're
not necessarily the baby face, but current day you got Roman doing and he is a Superman, like he is the super athlete type of thing.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, Triple H's extended run on top was probably the only time they've ever had a real extended heat run. Where they relied on heat and put the heels
absolutely.
On top.
Yeah,
sure.
and you had John Cena's run. Same thing.
Yeah.
That was Hogan 20 years later.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was a really awesome time in wrestling. Like 96, 97 was dynamite. Pardon the pun.
I don't know if that's a pun.
That's bad.
No.
Pardon the whatever.
It
was great.
I might have rather watched an episode of that. Nah, I wouldn't do this. So what we decided to do, normally we like to watch several weeks of TV at least leading up to the big pay-per-views we want to do. We kind of hemmed and hawed how we wanted to do this one, since we wanted to do the Survivor Series shows last month, and that really only left us 1 or 2 weeks to do it, for Christmas.
And we wanted to do the DX Christmas one that we did, and it was a fun one, Same year as this, also, by the way, 97.
Right. Yep. Probably pretty close.
Probably
to the
pretty
same
close,
night, right?
yeah.
Do you remember the?
I don't remember what that Raw was.
Check the date on that Raw if you can.
If you will.
Because what we decided to do is we'd just go ahead and check out the lead-in to the Nitro before the big pay-per-view. So we just wanted to check that one out, which actually turned out to be a 3-hour Raw. And what we have decided to do with those 3-hour
Nitro,
3-hour Nitro. What we've decided to do with any of the 3-hour Nitros or 3-hour Raws is we're going to watch them ahead of time. We're going to give kind of a rundown, highlights, lowlights, whatever, on the first 2 hours before we get started. And then we're going to just do the watch-along with that final hour. A lot of times that final hour is where some of the bigger storylines pay off and roll in and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
anyway,
especially for the go-home show.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, it was the same December 22nd.
Same night? Okay, good. So that was...
Because that was where H beat Michaels for the European title in that schmoz, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
That was the same night.
So that was
the head-to-head.
That's a nice little side-by-side for us to do here.
Yeah. We planned that, though, actually. we had that all mapped out for months.
Yep.
Planned
for
it.
Christmas season, the Christmas Raw and the Christmas Nitro.
Right. We didn't just figure that out.
No. But anyway, we're going to get started here. So we watched this Nitro, and spoiler alert, it is, let me check my notes here, not good.
No. I don't even think You had to have written more bad words about it than that.
Well, I'm trying to. This is a family podcast now.
Oh, well,
it's not. It'll never be.
Yeah, this is a big pile of dog shit. And after I'd eaten too much yesterday and was sitting down watching this, having an ice cold beer, I texted you at the 45-minute mark and said, "This is the worst wrestling television show I've ever seen, and I've watched Dynamite before."
And then when I got a chance to go watch it today, I believe I texted you that it's definitely not the worst wrestling TV I've ever seen, but man, it's trying awful hard.
Yeah. It went out of its way to win that championship.
Dude, it put in a valiant effort.
So I'm just
going to go through the rundown here, and we'll discuss and throw out our thoughts as we. And mind you, this is the go home show for the biggest pay-per-view, what probably should have been the biggest pay-per-view, the biggest payoff, the biggest event of WCW's decade at least, right?
Yeah, for 2 years especially. And at this point in time, well, throughout its history, Starrcade was WCW's WrestleMania.
Right.
Okay? So this was the payoff to their year. And it had been Thanksgiving, traditionally. And then they moved it to December. And I don't know if that was just the year before or a couple years before, but so this was their WrestleMania. You know, Bischoff always he still says that he always thought of Halloween Havoc as their biggest show of the year, but like, you know, they have a whole lot of old school guys in WCW still who think of Starrcade as the deal because there's a lot of history there. It goes all the way back to JCP. Okay.
Well, and it's got the sound too. I mean, you know, Starrcade.
Well, yeah, and
WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Halloween Havoc. Like that sounds like an in your house.
Right. Yeah. Well, Starrcade was JCP's first foray into closed circuit, and then pay per view. Mm-hmm. That was their first pay per view was Starrcade '87. Their first closed circuit was, I think, 86 or 80. I don't know if there's a Starrcade 85, but 86, that was a closed circuit, just like Mania 1. Mm-hmm. So they were trying to follow that model and compete with the WWF at the time. And so Starrcade was a big deal.
Yes.
And this was no different. Like, this was huge.
Yep. We come up, they lead in with, you know, some footage from last week of Ric Flair getting jumped and DDP coming out to help him. Ric Flair's getting beat up by the NWO, and DDP comes out and helps him and kind of runs him off. They kind of just show that footage, like there's no...
Yeah, it's like a cold open.
Yeah, there's no
I think Shivani was talking over... Or no, they had the commentary from that week.
Yeah.
So,
which is just a weird...
And if you don't remember, like, that was the big thing. It was the NWO versus WCW. WCW could never have enough cohesion to create a united front. There was always problems
because WCW was still good guys and bad guys that didn't get along.
Right.
And then the NWO was just all NWO.
Right. Exactly.
Whatever they were.
And man, dude, in this time, maybe I'm just remembering like a few instances that I didn't like, but I feel like Nitro did that a lot in this era, where they let in cold with the closing of the week before.
Yeah. I don't remember specifically. That seems right. I don't remember specifically, and I guess it's a little different. You know, it seems like a decision you make. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing I mean, every TV show.
Sure,
runs a serialized,
previously on, yeah.
You know,
there's definitely nothing wrong with it.
It definitely shows like a, but with no storytelling over it or no post like rear view commentary.
Right. It was one scene.
It was one scene, right?
Yeah,
you know, it really relies on us having watched the previous week and being up on all the storylines,
right?
And which is kind of a theme that I'm going to come back to as we work through this.
Well, and that's something I was going to say. Like, you see that finish of Nitro. What did that have to do with any of the story that this show told, or the build into Starrcade?
Right.
You had DDP out there, and Hennig out there.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
And that's not even your main event.
No.
Like, there wasn't a Sting appearance during it. You know, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so, an interesting thing. And then we get the commentary team.
So then we get the commentary team. Well, we get some Nitro girls as Santa's little helpers, which is still just, like... Every time I see the Nitro girls, I don't know exactly how to... It's just kind of such a, like, a... Really? Nitro girl? Yeah. This is what we're doing?
I was thinking about this last night. Like, I was like, I wonder if the Nitro girls were there prior to the 3-hour Nitros. Like, if this was just some kind of filler. Because they were just used as bumpers for commercial breaks, you know?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they were. Weren't they doing... They were doing Nitro Girl stuff even on, like, those 96s that we were watching.
Oh, they might have been. I don't recall exactly. You might be right.
I think the Nitro Girls were around pretty early, pretty regularly on Nitro.
But it was, that was a core thing of Bischoff's push especially, was that key demographic, the 18 to 45-year-old males who have all kinds of money to spend. I think that's bullshit. I didn't have all kinds of money to spend from 18 to 40, which is my current age.
It probably, it probably has to do with what the money gets spent on.
Sure, yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that's
definitely.
Past 45, we'll probably definitely have more money, but we'll also have presumably more health expenses and more health care.
Right. And we'll be buying washers and dryers and couches and...
Presumably.
Autobiographical.
Hopefully I'll never be. Anyway. So then we come out of that, and we've got that Bischoff promo that is...
This message is paid 90s. For by the New World Order.
Dude, it was so 90s. It felt like a video. And I think I've said this. Some of this stuff I probably say a lot when we watch some of these, but this felt so much like a video lead-in on MTV.
Yes.
Like he just could have been going.
And it was cool as fuck in 96 and 97.
That's fair.
It was, man. Like it was this subversive looking thing. Like it was black and white, like come on. Yeah, it's just you watch it in the hindsight, it's like we were into some weird shit in the 90s.
Then we have Eddie versus Finlay as our first match.
Well, real quick, I just want to talk about. So Eric Bischoff is talking about a match he's having with Larry Zbyszko.
That's right,
the living legend at Starrcade, and this is for control of Nitro.
Yes, if Bischoff wins,
and I'm going to forget to bring this up again, so I'm going to do it now. Larry Zbyszko talks about how he's going to beat up Eric Bischoff during every match he's calling for the first 45 minutes of this show.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Well, that's okay, because Eric Bischoff talks about how calls Larry Zbyszko a fat pig over and over for the other 45 minutes of the show. Right.
So, but the point I was making is that was a huge, huge problem for WCW in this time.
Dude.
Their commentators, and I love Bobby Heenan, I like Mike Tenay, I love Tony Schiavone, but man, did they have to sell the crap out of the main story on the card throughout the whole card. Like they would just stop talking about matches as they were happening. Mm-hmm. It really became a problem in WCW.
Yeah.
And I noticed that, and I was like, man.
Well, I think it's it seems to me like it's a indicator of when you've lost the forest through the trees, maybe. Mm-hmm. Because I make that complaint now. I think we see that happening now on like Raws and have seen it for a while.
Yeah.
And now they do a lot more because they're not, it's not just main event, but it's, in a 10-minute match, 5 minutes of the commentary is 3 minutes of the commentary maybe is on the match, and they got to push the app, and they got to talk about the story. And they got to talk. You know what I mean?
Twitter this, Twitter that.
Yes, exactly. What's trending? Hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag boss is trending on. Whatever,
Yeah.
So
And announcers having catchphrases.
Right.
Like that's another big deal now. But like you can still watch
But think about one of the things that the Attitude Era of WWE gets praised for is that everybody had a storyline, right? Also, JR and Jim Ross talked about every match that was happening.
Right.
I don't think that's...
JR called matches.
Right.
And he still does.
Yeah.
That's still like...
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't watch it.
Well...
He doesn't commentate for wrestling, so...
Bing, 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 bing.
Shots fired. All right. So, Eddie versus Finlay.
Yes.
Finlay with brown hair. With a brown mullet.
Dude, he's got that mullet that he had when him and Regal beat the hell out of each other at that pay-per-view that I love so much. And I was just so into it. I was like, and man, hey, I did not watch Finlay in WWE much. I did not watch much then. Underrated guy. I really like Finlay's work. I really like it. It's solid. Now, he was in there with Eddie.
Right.
And as good as Eddie's going to get in his career, I think Eddie was as good here as he ever was.
You think?
I do. I think just watching it, I just saw so much of what you see years later. He was so good, man.
I agree with that. The thing I noticed about this match was I felt like they really didn't. It looked like they had never wrestled before, and I really felt like I saw early like them kind of finding each other's. Not that it was bad or off or sloppy.
No, but
there was just kind of some mistimings and some miscues that I pick up as a 20-year insider that maybe nobody else cares about.
About too the clash in styles. Eddie was the cruiserweight champion here, and he had been wrestling cruiserweight matches only, and Fitz a European style wrestler. That World of Sport crap. Like, he did all that, and he did all the strong, stiff shit, too. And that is a styles clash for sure, but they were good enough to gel, I think, by probably 5 minutes into the match.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
I noted, and I noted all night, you see everybody playing to the camera on Nitro, like as they're making their entrances, as they're leaving. You never saw that at WWF.
No.
Still to this day, we don't see that at WWF. And I don't know if it's a bias from me because I have WWE kind of on my they're the one, right?
Yeah.
But every time those guys start playing to the camera, I think it looks unprofessional.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, oh, come on, man.
I like it.
Do you?
Yeah. I always liked that about Nitro. I always thought that was and it might have just been because it was different at the time.
Yeah.
But I have a good memory of it. So, and I don't think it looks unprofessional. I think it looks good. I don't like the idea now of not playing to the crowd, but this is a TV show.
To the crowd and the camera is different to me.
Sure.
Right, like to the camera, to the crowd, they should definitely play to the crowd.
Right.
I hate that the WWE doesn't play to the crowd.
Right.
But anytime I'm watching the old Nitro and Buff comes out and he's like all in the camera, fixing his hair and laughing and talking to the camera, I'm like, bro, get I'm like, come on, get your game face on. What are you doing?
And I feel like I can see your point there, but I feel like that's a great opportunity for them to showcase themselves, their personality. I like that better than everything moving to the hard cam.
For sure.
Because that makes everything look so much more staged.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? It's like the move has to be facing the hard cam and everything is facing the hard cam, and I understand why. It's a TV show. Like, I get it, but give me one move that doesn't face the hard cam every once in a while. Like, I want to see a fight, not everything facing the hard cam every time.
For sure. And also I like that. I like what you're saying there. It is specifically for me, it feels weird when the wrestlers are making their entrance and they're playing to the camera instead of the crowd, or instead of making their way to the ring.
Right.
They stop and play to the camera. Yeah, I definitely like, when you're in the middle of a match, do some other stuff. You know what I mean? Like I don't want the whole match staged to hard cam, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So then we get Ming with Jimmy Hart versus Mongo. Hey, is this Mongo's best match ever?
Well, It's definitely his realest fight ever. We blew right past the Giant addressing Kevin Nash.
Yeah, the Giant addresses Kevin Nash.
No, it's fine. It was awful. It was
promo.
Early Paul White.
He's not one-dimensional.
He had no idea how to do anything yet or talk.
True.
He had no idea what kind of charisma he actually had or anything like that. So, yeah.
I mean, you can see a little bit of the natural charisma that Paul White has.
For sure.
Definitely see it coming
you can
through.
see that from day one.
Right.
He had no idea what to do with it.
Had no idea.
He had no idea that he had it, or he just, And
at this point, he'd kind of been around long enough. Like, guys aren't gonna, he's the.
Well, I mean, he's only been there 2 years. He's Hogan's boy, though. Like, he's only been around
Hogan's
for 2 years.
Boy.
I mean,
been there a little bit longer than 2 years.
He debuted in '95.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The heyday of the Dungeon of Doom.
Well, but also, true. And also, but that's the thing too, though, is he had been a main eventer from the word go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I doubt there's anybody there now. He'd been a main eventer. He'd been working with Hogan for most of it, and so I'm sure by this time, he's not. Very few people are giving him direction or producing him.
Right.
Right.
Which and they should have been. Mm-hmm. They should have been much more hands on.
Right.
For sure.
Well, and I'm sure before he had Hogan. When he's when you come in and you're working with Hogan, Hogan's going, hey, do this, say this.
Or he's with Kevin Sullivan all the time.
Right.
And say what you want about Kevin Sullivan's weird ass, but he knew how to get stuff over.
For sure. For sure.
So, anyway, yeah. Ming and Mongo. Mongo's got a doozy of a match coming up on Starrcade, man.
We got Mongo and Goldberg.
Yes.
I thought it was so funny that they set this match up for him to go and face the undefeated Goldberg, and Ming beats him. Ming beats the crap out of him, splashes him the one time, has to pick him up, and then the finish.
He did pick him up.
Yeah. So the finish is he smashes Ming with that wooden chair that explodes around Ming's head, that Ming no sells whatsoever. Then he grabs a steel chair and hits Ming with it, that Ming no sells, and then he just picks him up and tombstones him.
Yep, right away.
And that's the go home. But it did not feel, you feel like if you're lining guys up to face the undefeated Goldberg, you probably would want to have him crushing some guy. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to crush Ming. I don't think McMichael should have crushed Ming.
Well, it's a good.
How many dudes on this roster? How many dudes on that roster do they have that he could have gone out there and crushed a dude in 3 minutes and looked?
And here's another thing. I'm sure Goldberg's already ran through Ming by this point. Legit
Probably.
beat him in 2 minutes.
Probably.
Just watching this, two things occurred to me all these years later. How much money would you have to get paid to let Mongo tombstone you?
Mongo's a strong guy. They didn't think about that stuff then, dude. Mongo's a strong guy.
I understand he's a strong guy. No. Man, F that. If you say, well, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Mongo is careful and safe, you're wrong.
So I don't think that, but I don't think the first thing that ever came to Ming's mind was, I better be careful with this guy.
Well, that was my second point.
Okay.
All these years later, we know that Ming tore a motherfucker's eye out of his head once. And, how nerve-wracking would it be to be in there with Ming? If I stiff Ming, is he gonna roadhouse my throat?
Normally you're probably right. See, you just found these two guys. There's no way Mongo gave a second thought.
No, and I assure you, Mongo was not afraid of any person on the planet.
Right?
Nobody.
Yeah.
I assure that's the case. That. Playing the high level of pro football he played and everything like that, there's no way he thought anybody could whip him.
Yeah.
No way. But, just thinking back on it now, I'm thinking about, if I went to an indie show and it was hey, you're wrestling so-and-so. Yeah, he killed a guy. He what? Oh, yeah, he killed a guy. Oh. Like, killed him? Like he murdered a guy?
Now, when you say killed him...
he straight up, like, plucked an eye out? Like the Shaolin Master from Kill Bill? Or what? I mean... But yeah, that was just that was good, funny thoughts I had watching this match.
Yes, I actually enjoyed this match.
I did way more than I thought I was going to.
This was by far my favorite match on the card.
Oh,
on the whole show, and maybe just that little bit of like not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
But they were also working with each other.
Yeah,
you
they
know
were.
What I mean,
yeah.
It
was hard. It was hard hitting. It told a story. Like
it was
that finish was a little weird, but
brawl.
Yeah. The finish was weird, but you know, it got over his finish, Mongo's finish.
Yep.
You know, so
yeah. Normally, under any other circumstances, I feel like this would have been a good match for like both guys. You know what I mean? Like man, both these guys came out looking a little better at the end of this match.
Mm-hmm.
As it is, Mongo did not come out looking like he was ready to go fight Goldberg. And I have a hard time. I don't 100% remember where Goldberg was on his run here, but I mean, I feel like
I think it was early.
But I mean, he was still the guy out there crushing people enough that they're like they're kind of pushing this match, Mongo versus Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely,
it was a thing.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the thing he would become. So.
Right. The next year is when it hits the fever pitch, for sure. All
right, so then let's see. They showed Reggie White highlights for some reason. Is he going to be on the pay-per-view? I feel like they just showed
They showed athletes, like, because they talked about WCW Sackmaster, which made me fucking giggle because they said Sackmaster and I'm a little kid. And then Kevin Green, he's been helping out the 49ers and we'll get to see him soon, you know, like so. And then they showed Reggie White. I don't remember Reggie White wrestling. Who did he wrestle? Who was he in there with?
I don't remember.
It was not good though.
It didn't look good.
Reggie White was a great football player, and I'm sure he had retired. And they're like, "Yep, come on in." Yep. You know, Reggie White was with LT at Mania 11, wasn't he? Because Mongo was for sure. I wonder if that's where all that came from.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I believe so. We had Mean Gene and DDP cutting the promo. I like DDP. This was a pretty standard promo. He did say, "I'm Mr. Christmas," and that's a shoot. And I hate anytime somebody said, like, it jumps out and like slaps me in the face anytime somebody says, "and that's a shoot," in a wrestling promo. Yep. And I always just feel like it's one. I think it's an indicator of guys who just go out there and cut promos the way they talk, which I believe about DDP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also like it smacks of like immaturity in the business, where you're still kind of learning. And I know DDP was not immature in the business at this point particularly, but there's all these things you pick up when you first come into the business, and so it's kind of like, do you know where they bleed over? Like, do you know you're not supposed to say this is a shoot
for a shoot, brother? Look at all these gimmicks.
Right, right.
These are items.
Right.
So that's a fanboy service thing.
Yeah.
Because that was a big deal, internet fans at the time. It's no different than, like, for example, now if you watch like a Marvel or DC movie, and they have some portion in that movie that was straight from the comics, and it's just straight up, here's our fanboy fan service. Now we can go back to making our blockbuster for everybody to enjoy.
That's fair.
Like, it was the same type of deal. Yeah. Like, it feels like to me. Like, as an analog, anyway.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then we've got that trios match. That's Psychosis, La Parka, Silver King. Hey, how long did you think Silver King was El Dandy for?
None.
Oh, okay.
I know who El Dandy is.
Oh, all right, my bad.
And Pat Tanaka.
Versus Mysterio, Hoovy, and Hector Guerrera.
This was my favorite match.
Really? I hated this match. So, like,
this match is a train wreck, dude.
So legit. Well, okay, I'll let you talk on it. Let me throw out my down. I'm down on it for one very specific reason, and I saw everything in it that I hate about modern wrestling.
Yes.
They just did spots.
Yep.
It was all high spots, and there's a place for matches that are all high spots. I will give them that, but this was all high spots. There was no. It didn't seem like there was any thought put into the order they came in, and I noticed a lot. And this is the damning factor for me. I noticed a lot of the time where guys were just standing there waiting for everybody else to get into position.
Right.
And that's
a ton of it. And
yes, and I can excuse high spots. I can excuse poor place. I can excuse all high spots. I can excuse poor placement of high spots. I cannot excuse when guys are just standing there waiting for everybody else to get in position for their high spot.
Right.
That's what's damning for me.
So in this, with the context in this era, this was the highlight of the first hour of WCW Nitros usually, and almost always one of three guys was in that match: Mysterio, Hoovy, or Psychosis. They had done things you've never seen before in your life. I can't count the number of times we see an old GIF on Twitter where Psychosis is landing straight on the top of his head. Like, just they blew you away with their athleticism, right? And he never saw it. And so I think to these later years and how much I hate seeing this now. I can't stand it because that's all we see. And in the cultural context, what these guys were told to bring to this show was this match. And it's not my cup of tea, but just the chaos of it, I just enjoyed. And I think that probably speaks to how much the rest of the show is a pile of shit. And I would have liked the next match more if Van Hammer wasn't in it.
If it was good. So during the Luchadors match, the Flock comes down. No Raven. Which they kept pumping, and I have no idea what happened or how often the Flock was there without Raven. If there's a reason he wasn't there. But they're building the big Benoit versus Raven is supposed to happen at Starrcade.
Right.
So tonight Benoit is taking on Hammer. And that match, it was fine. There were moments in it where I was like, is Van Hammer better than I remember Van Hammer being?
Dude, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet Van Hammer's one of those guys that if he ever cared or had to work hard, he was a good enough athlete that he would have been a good wrestler. And since he was in there with Benoit was able to dig that out.
That would make a lot of sense.
You know what I mean? Like, because I don't remember a good Van Hammer match ever.
but also, maybe even more importantly, do you remember any Van Hammer match?
Nope.
Because I can't think of a one. I have a vague memory of him losing to Adam Bomb when they were building Adam Bomb up to get beat by Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Wrath.
Yes, it was Wrath. Yes.
Because he came in with the Glacier deal.
No.
Yeah.
Was he Wrath?
Yeah. He was Glacier's second villain. So Mortis was first, which was Chris Kanyon.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was Mortis and Glacier wrestled. This is probably not true, but it feels like for 6 straight pay-per-views.
Yes.
And then Glacier beat him 5 of the 6. And then all of a sudden, now Mortis introduced his new friend, and it was Wrath. And it's he's a giant! Then he took his mask off, and you're like, it's fucking Adam Bomb.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, this was after that, because this was when I was watching. This was and actually, this was one of the first times I remember seeing like some. I specifically remember noticing like booking, because they had Wrath, Adam Bomb, was kind of squashing people. He was running through some guys, and they were kind of building him up. And then he had maybe a pay-per-view or maybe just kind of a big Nitro match. And I mean, it had been 6 weeks of Wrath's beating these guys. Wrath's been on a tear. And then Wrath, and then he wrestled somebody who was kind of big, and they had like a fight that Wrath came out on top of, and then he faced Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash beat him like real quick.
Yeah.
But that was when they were building Kevin Nash
right.
to face Goldberg.
Right.
And I just remember noticing that and being like, oh, they were trying to build him up so he could build him up so he could. Okay, I see how this works. That was one of those kind of light bulb moments.
I understand wrestling now.
Yes.
So he wasn't Wrath for long. I feel like they started calling him Brian Clark pretty quick, which is his
Did they?
name, brother.
I remember him being Wrath even when they were with Chronic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Brian Adams and Brian Clark with Chronic.
Well, maybe. They were definitely that. He was not Wrath when they came to the WWE.
Right.
But I felt like he was still Wrath when they were Chronic in WCW. Maybe not.
Those were the dark times.
And it may those. and honestly, it was probably one of those things too, where like Wrath kind of became like a moniker. Like they let it be known, like, oh, Brian Clark has been going by Wrath. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically.
Could be.
We're taking an awful long time to go through this show, so
yeah.
No, because now we get to skip a ton of it.
Oh my God!
But
first of all, Perry Saturn gets involved at the end of this, puts Benoit on the rings of Saturn. Oh, yeah. They're prominently building up Perry Saturn here. So, and the Ravens flock was hilarious. Perry Saturn was cool. Billy Kidman acted like a heroin addict. And then there was a bunch of guys who nobody had ever heard of.
And Lodi.
Including, eventually, the Yeti, Ron Reese.
Yes. Man, the flock. Well, also, how weird is it that they're running the flock at the same time they're running the NWO? Like, those are like the same gimmick.
No, yeah. It was this outsiders thing, and yep, exactly. Okay.
And how did nobody notice? Never mind, it doesn't matter. So then, now we get this extended sequence.
40 minutes.
40 minutes of the NWO changing
the set.
They come out, and at first I thought it was just silliness, because they come out, they kick the announcers out of the announce booth. We've seen that before. Then they start going, they go to one of the cameramen, and they're specifically to the camera guy, they're like, Are you NWO or are you WCW? And the camera guy's like, oh, I'm in WCW or NWO. So they make him change his shirt. And then there's this extended sequence where they just go around to all the staff. And they're just going to all the crew going, are you with us or against us? And then they make him put on an NWO shirt.
And then they start changing the sets.
Yeah.
And
well, and we have to see every step of
it. All of it. They cut the commercial and come back to it.
We see them go to all of the we see them go to all of all the stage crew and make them change their shirt. We see them go into the production booth, into the big production truck, and make them change their shirt. Like, we watch them do all of this. And then once they've changed the whole crew, then they start tearing apart the set. They tear down anything WCW. They take down the banners. They're putting up the NWO Monday Nitro banners. And
here's another key to this whole deal. The guys doing it are Rick Rude, who's sweating like he's in a sauna, Scott Norton, Buff Bagwell, and fucking Vincent.
And Conan.
Oh, yeah, and Conan. K-Dog, that's right. And Conan. It's those 5 members of the NWO.
Dude.
One doesn't wrestle. One is Scott Norton, who is a badass, but also, who cares? One's Buff, who they always loved, but who cares again? One is fucking Virgil, and one is Conan, who is great, but also, these are like the dregs of the NWO. Like, go out and do our light work,
for sure, that's what it is. Like, but I mean, that kind of makes sense. Like, who you gonna send out to do that is not gonna, like there's a hierarchy in the NWO.
Yeah, I guess
somebody's got to get the shit work for that too.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But how much did Rick Rude he was like such the like perfect over-caffeinated, like he could have been like an over-caffeinated store manager somewhere. Like he was just he was and everything he said,
I'm the sales manager.
Yeah.
You guys will do what I say. Change that sign.
He drives a Dodge Stratus.
Just an awful 15 minutes of television.
It's a bad segment that they just dug their heels all the way in on and just let it.
And this is no joke.
Almost to the point you want to maybe give it some credit for being like man, they went for it.
Yeah.
And they made us like I was mad watching it that they made me watch them change it to you know what I mean? Like there might have almost been some pathos behind that, except that two things. This is the show you're trying to sell. Like you're not building heat here. All your heat should be built. This is the show where you should be selling the pay-per-view.
Right.
Where you should be letting everybody know we're going to pay everything off. Not where you're just like, oh, this is let's build heat for 15, 20 minutes here.
And they may not have, but I feel like this had happened before. I mean, elements of this obviously had.
For sure.
But like
the NWO was like as much as we remember it for all its great moments, it was a very repetitive gimmick.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
I remember weeks on end where it opened with DDP coming out and challenging the NWO, and a new tag partner would come out to help him, and then in the main event that tag partner would turn on him.
Yes.
And then the next week he would come out and challenge that tag partner with the NWO with a new tag partner.
Yep.
Who would
and
then
turn on him.
Weeks on
Absolutely.
where they did the same thing week after week after week after week.
Yeah. Absolutely. And they got stale.
Yep.
And the other part about this is this segment was 15 minutes long.
Yes.
I paused it 3 times to see how much time had passed. And how, I mean, I was like, are we into hour 3 yet?
It was a slow, bad
Dude,
segment.
it was bad.
And then they followed it up with a slow, worse segment.
Oh, yeah. And I understand, like, they had to fill 3 hours and stuff, but let's just go to the next thing. It was terrible.
Yeah, so then the rest of the NWO comes out. For Bischoff,
finally, the stars.
For Bischoff to honor Hollywood Hogan. And there's no way that this wasn't... Like, so he brings out... So first they bring out... So Bischoff comes out on that stupid motorcycle for no reason.
Yep.
And, like, he gets in the ring, and then he calls them... They come out, and he wants to give Hogan... He's got all these presents for Hogan. Okay? And the first one is like that they call out this. It's the same motorcycle, right? That dude brings out Eric Bischoff's motorcycle.
Oh, dude!
And he's just like, yeah, here's your wheels, Hulk. And
it's the wrong one.
It's the wrong one because then but also they had to wait they waited 5 minutes for it.
You could tell that the guy driving the motorcycle was mad.
Yeah.
You could hear him say something like, a different one? Like something like that. Yeah. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was mad. I assumed he was mad because while they were trying to bring out while they were waiting for somebody to figure out which motorcycle to bring out, somebody cued their flyer. It was like raining NWO flyers. So that dude comes out on this motorcycle all fast and drives through this bed of slick paper flyers. I just assumed he was pissed about it because you see it kind of jerk, and he's
that could be.
He looks at that camera and he's like, God damn it! I'm like,
yeah,
okay, well, all right, bro.
This roadie's pissed.
Yeah, and then they start doing it, and then 5 minutes later, Bischoff's like, I got you another motorcycle for when you're feeling a little more Hollywood, and they bring out this other motorcycle that has his face airbrushed on the gas can.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first one was totally the one that Bischoff had just driven to the ring.
Absolutely.
And they took it back.
Yep.
And then the guy brought it back out, and it was the wrong one. Went back and got the right one, and they called it. Oh my god!
Then they start doing the they bring out that limo.
Yes, big, huge stretch limo into this arena. That's
a hot tub in the back.
Open aired and got a hot tub in the back with 2 ladies in it, drinking champagne flutes, And later on, they have to hang out with fucking Virgil.
Conan moved into that thing.
Yeah,
he spent the rest of the night in that limo.
Yes, but they cut away to a commercial later, and I'm like, oh fuck, Vincent's there. Like, what kind of lawsuits were happening here? Anyway, so yeah, they honor Hogan. This is an entire throwaway. It's another 20 minutes of television, and it sucks.
And it really, and Hogan cuts a little bit of a promo at the end. And it really, I've heard Kevin Nash talk about how they would get to the they would get to Nitro, and they'd head straight to Hogan's locker room because Hogan had a cooler and a case of beer, and they'd start drinking. And then most of the time, their only segment was the NWO promo, and Hulk was going to do all the talking. So then they'd just have to go out there and stand behind Hulk, so they didn't have to be in great shape. It's not like they had to be in a great mental shape to go stand out there with Hogan,
which was really good for Scott Hall's life. He's doing great now.
I can't say 100% that wasn't the context they had put this in, but that was Nash talking about that. So then we're gonna when we finally get through this, the first match of NWO Nitro is Rick Steiner versus Scott Norton, which was just the garbagest match. But they showed. I have two notes on it, because one, they showed that replay of a botched power slam from their week before. I didn't realize until I saw that Rick Steiner had been a zombie for the last
30 years.
30 years, yeah. But he definitely died that night.
Yeah. Scott Norton killed him.
Yes. But he looked great for a zombie.
You can't kill Rick Steiner.
So then,
Rick Steiner is inevitable.
I guess. So then they come out the next. So when he's on his way to the ring. Also, Rick Steiner with Ted DiBiase. When did that happen?
No idea. Because when they showed a backstage thing where J.J. Dillon was talking to him and DiBiase was with him. I was like, I thought he was like the 5th member of the NWO,
right?
Or 4th member, or whatever. So they must have kicked him out by now. Whatever.
I guess. So they come back.
Oh, and also we got our broadcast team now.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Because they also, because I want to come back to this, because they make a big deal out of J.J. Dillon comes up to Rick Steiner, and he's like, you don't have to go out there if you don't want to. I understand. And they make it this kind of this badass moment for Rick Steiner where he's like, I don't care what they're doing out there. We don't handle business that way. I'm going out there anyway. And, it's this big badass moment. But then the next non-guy, then Disco Inferno comes out. Just for the next match.
But he tore up a sign though. some of the falling flyers.
Oh, dude,
he picked it up and went. Ugh.
Well, he danced. It just was one of those things where right. they kind of made it they made it this badass moment for Rick Steiner. That means fucking Disco Inferno's a badass too, right?
Yeah. This is war.
By the NWO.
This is war. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so our announce team.
Oh man. So who takes over the desk? Because Shivani, Zbyszko, and Tenay get booted.
Yep.
And they were always the first hour of Nitro. And Rick Rude, Kevin Nash, and Eric Bischoff sit in for commentary. And I texted you last night, Eric Bischoff did commentary, and he was fine at it when he wasn't trying to be a heel.
Right.
Rick Rude, there's no way he ever did commentary. And Kevin Nash was a case in to beer. A case of beer in. Dude, he was 15 sheets to the wind.
Dude, he looked asleep. He looked asleep with his sunglasses on.
Yeah. And he makes some faces every now and again. I'm like, I've done that drunk. Yep, that one too. Probably on this podcast. That's probably how I know. That one too. He just, every time they'd cut to him, he'd be like, and this type of deal, I'm like, yeah, I've been there, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's trying to be the coolest guy in the room and hilarious. Rick Rude is doing his damnedest to audition for a future spot as a color commentary.
For real.
Because he's calling the matches, and Eric Bischoff is trying to be funny and just being obnoxious.
Yeah,
which was his gimmick. He was obnoxious. He was kind of the little dork that hung out with the NWO. That was his thing. He was grating. But, like, it was just too much, man. It was just brutal.
And it was bad.
Brutal.
All right.
I think we're ready.
Are we ready to start? So that's the first 2 hours of that Nitro. And
we're going to pick up with Disco Fever, brother.
We are going to pick up with Disco Fever. Disco Inferno, man. All right, let's get this started. If you guys want to watch along, we are on the WCW Monday Nitro from
December 22nd,
1997. We are starting at the chapter with Disco Inferno versus Kurt Hennig. The timestamp for that is 011820.
Yep. And you can jump to it if you scroll down from the bottom or from the top, and you get to go to the chapters.
We're going to start this in 3, 2, and play.
Hey, has anybody else noticed your WWE Network's playing ads at the start of shows now?
They always have.
No. Like progressive ads.
Oh, I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Hey, guys, we pay you for this service, Anyway, here we go. So, WCW versus NWO. This is war. Here's a guy in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, I'm also just going to mention we probably need to refine our recap because we for sure talked for an hour.
God damn it. Of course we did.
So...
See, he's mad though. He tore up a.
Oh, he's mad. Yeah, well, this means war, bro.
Yeah, he tore up a thing. He's gonna point it. He's gonna point at Billy Kidman acting like a heroin addict and Lodi's stupid sign.
The first thing on Lodi's Christmas list is a win.
Look at this guy's like boner Santa hat back here. Not this guy.
Is that Paul Giamatti in the audience?
I am not drinking fucking Merlot.
Well, dude, Santa hat is standing straight up.
Dude, seriously.
That's bananas.
It bothered me a lot because, like, I saw it, I'm like, and there's the sign that's blurred out that's got a naughty word on it.
It's got a
slur.
I bet they let that play the night off.
Oh, guaranteed. This was live, man. They didn't. Yeah, they didn't blur that out. Yeah,
they didn't care.
Well, hell, I mean, Jerry Lawler had said that word on TV like 2 years prior to Goldust.
He didn't say that word.
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. Jerry Lawler said the Q word.
Q. Okay.
Jerry
You're
Lawler
right.
said the Q word.
You're right.
That's the F word.
Yeah. Okay. Gosh. What a time.
Kurt Hennig. Kurt Hennig always... You can find some younger Kurt Hennig matches where he looks thinner, but he just looked exactly the same from...
Dude, they put this over... one of the things they put over on commentary, and Rick Rude even brought up, he's like, this guy's been kicking asses since I was with him in the 8th grade and stuff, and I'm like... And he said he's in the best shape he's ever been in. And I'm like, you know what? I buy that. Oh, there's Vincent. Great.
And Conan.
Great.
Oh, so that's what... Hey, so I had a note on that. That's hilarious. So, Conan's hanging out on that limo, and Bischoff goes, hey, look at Conan. Is he drinking the bubble bath? Because that could probably make you sick. And I was just like, and it sounded like legit concern. I was like, is he really, like, what do we...
If you saw Conan and Virgil next to a hot tub, which one would you think is drinking the bubble bath?
I mean, definitely Vincent.
Yeah. Grabs the U.S. title, holds it up.
And so this is Disco Fever is the TV champ here, the WCW TV champ. and like, man, remember when that was Arn Anderson?
Yes.
And like Arn Anderson and Barry
every
Windham
week
fought for that title
every
like,
week.
Man, that title has fallen.
Yeah. I mean, it had been
now it's just on a glorified job guy.
Well, think too. Like this is the guys who became TV champ in '96 and '97. You're talking about Malenko became TV champ. You're talking about it was still prestigious, and then
I mean, there's always a little bit of. Sometimes you put a belt on a guy trying to make the guy, like sometimes you put a belt on a guy and the guy makes the belt, and then sometimes you put a belt on a guy
to elevate him,
make the guy, and
I don't doubt that they were trying to make Disco here, honestly, because the crowd was into his act, and he had been a job guy for a couple of years, but he had been getting.
Hey, what about that not a leapfrog by Kurt? It was just like a pass by.
Well, he ducked. Man.
Hey, like, I don't know much. I feel like... So, okay, here's the deal. I always want to assume that Disco Inferno is like an unsung hero of probably WCW. Because, like, talk about another guy, him and Sting, man, that were with the company the whole time from the start to the finish. I mean, Disco was there when they closed that down.
Yeah.
And he didn't change gimmick. He did the same stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
He was handed a shitty gimmick from day one, and he went out there and owned it.
He ran with it for 7 years.
And enthusiastically. Like, even as a job guy, the whole thing. Like, he always knew his role.
Yeah.
And he always played that gimmick heavy. Man, when you said him and Sting, I was like, whoa. My eyes got real big. I was like, I can't wait to go here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the context that is meant in. That's
right.
For sure.
But also but I feel like and it doesn't hurt that he kind of looks like Tommy Dreamer, but I feel like I want to assume he's like the Tommy Dreamer of WCW.
He's the rah-rah guy.
Yeah, except that usually when there's like when there's that guy, it comes out, and I've never heard that about Disco.
Hennig selling his ass off for him. Yeah, no, I haven't either. But I think I do recall hearing at the end he was helping a lot of guys with matches and stuff. Like he was almost a producer type guy.
I mean, you almost feel like he has to be.
Yeah.
To have kept his job the way he had.
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't doing, you almost feel like if he wasn't doing stuff backstage, there's no way he would have survived all the not gimmick, but owner changes and leadership changes and everything else. Because you know what I mean, like, because there was twice they like shut down Nitro to do like, we need to take this week off to do a full restart, guys. Reevaluating everything.
Yeah,
and like they said that, like they announced that.
Yeah,
what was that? Flurry of offense.
Did you see that neck twist Hennig did with him between his legs?
Yeah. He always did that.
Did he?
Yeah, he used to do that at WWE.
I don't remember that because that was lame.
Yeah, because I noticed it because I've always hated seeing that.
Yeah, lame as hell. Those are good knee hits, man. knee strikes. The old fish hook.
I also have some hot takes on Kurt Hennig that I hate to talk about them because I don't have them formed well, but I don't think Kurt Hennig is as good as we always think he is and give him credit for being.
I think Kurt Hennig is every bit as good as we give him credit for, but I think he was one of those guys that you think so fondly of. You're like, oh, he was so underrated, and it's like, no,
yeah,
he was exactly who he was. I could have seen Kurt Hennig be a world champion in 1989.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Right.
I cannot see that in 91.
Right.
So,
for sure.
So like I feel like the shortness of his career, his mainstream career, makes it so you're like, well, Kurt sold his ass off for people. He made people look like $1 million, He was good in the ring. He was good at everything. But you've heard for so long, oh, Curt Hennig could have been world champion for 5 years, and Curt Hennig's so underrated. It's like, I don't think he's underrated. Like, I really don't. Like, he...
Okay, how about this? How about this?
Maybe he didn't meet his potential, but he was definitely a solid hand forever.
Yeah. How about this? I'm making this connection maybe for like the first time, I feel like.
That's what we do here.
He's Billy Gunn. He's an above average athlete with above average charisma, but not quite but not quite to the point like and those put together such an astonishing package, but they're just not quite there to take him up to the top, right?
I think just snatched that out of nowhere. Gave Disco a little bit of offense, snatched that perfect plex, and boop.
Yeah.
So, okay. I like the comp. I think Perfect has quite a bit more charisma than Billy Gunn. I think size-wise, Billy Gunn is the dumbest athlete this side of Brock Lesnar we've ever seen.
I don't disagree.
Dude. And nobody realized.
I think Billy Gunn's probably a better athlete than Brock Lesnar.
I don't think I've ever seen a better athlete than Brock Lesnar. But Billy Gunn is huge. People don't realize that he's enormous.
Yeah,
he's 6'4" or 6'5".
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big guy. He's huge,
right,
and can move like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever had the facials, the charisma, the talking ability, for sure not, of Curt Hennig. But I also would say Curt Hennig I don't think he had the size of Billy Gunn. I think...
So maybe they're standing on opposite sides of the same line.
Yes, but I think also Curt Hennig's athleticism is maybe a little bit of the overrate here, what's overstated, because he was so good at just selling for people, bumping his ass off. Right?
Okay.
In ways that you hadn't seen. Like, Flair didn't even do this for guys.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So
I would say... so I think Billy Gunn has a physical charisma that Hennig doesn't have.
Okay.
And Hennig has a verbal character charisma that Billy Gunn definitely doesn't have. But I mean, Billy Gunn, like to look at Billy Gunn, to watch him move in the ring, whether he's selling, working,
and
whatever.
he can get intense. Like he's got that intense face, and his body gets intense. Yes.
And he also has the worst punches of all time. But
man, they're bad.
If he had some good punches, man, he could have been a contender.
They're bad.
And what about this? I also hate this. So, what we've got happening now is Bobby Heenan coming out to the announce table. And he is begging Eric Bischoff to let him announce, and he is kissing Eric Bischoff and the NWO's butt.
Ass.
And
he's done nothing but buried him, the NWO, because it was always the line that was drawn. Like, Heenan was the heel announcer, but he still hated the NWO.
Right. And so now he's flip-flopping on that because he wants to work. He wants to work for him. I guess he's decided that they're probably going to win. And, I got to be honest, like, this kind of grossed me out a little bit. And, like, I can manage, I can get my headspace around. I mean, Bobby Heenan is a chicken shit heel, right? So, like, for him to come out and all of a sudden be kissing up to these guys, I can kind of see that, except that, like, it almost feels... Like it almost feels disrespectful for anybody to have made Bobby whether the character could stand this or not.
Right.
Like for them to have made Bobby Heenan do this, where he just come out at this point and just a completely sniveling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it sucks. It sucks because of his cachet as an announcer and being the weasel, whatever. But man, I had that same haircut.
That bald. And what about
Maybe in 97. No,
Dude, what
not
about
97.
what about all these white people raising the roof
Oh,
of
yeah.
the Harlem Heat? And they're just
Ice.
dude.
Cold.
At the risk of sounding like a reverse racist. Not a thing.
Yeah, definitely not a thing. I was about to correct you. I'm glad I didn't. Because I have no business correcting you on that.
They just found... Dude, they found just the most...
Look at that Cosby sweater.
Just the most...
Cosby sweater.
Dude, look at all them... Man, that is just... Like, you could convince me that those were plants to be funny. That is such a perfect, like... Oh, look at this. Look at this middle-aged... You know, look at it. Hey, dad,
Johnny Planshirt was pissed.
Flannel dad sitting down.
Yeah, why did my kids drag me to this? At least I got this $8 Coors Light.
Oh, man.
Lodi and Scotty Riggs.
This match...
Patch-eyed Scotty Riggs.
Spoiler alert. This match can go straight to hell.
But Lodi rules, obviously.
Lodi rules.
Yeah. Says it right there on the sign.
Oh,
so,
dude. And look at this chick out there in her prom dress.
Yeah.
to pick up all the
ring gear, which is nothing. It's
nothing.
Lodi's sign. Literally.
Not Van. Scotty Riggs took off a vest.
Oh.
What
Booker T just handed her sunglasses. Here you go.
Booker T had sunglasses though.
Yeah. Well, it was bright in there.
And what about his Breathe Right strip? I wish he'd give that to somebody. Hold on. There you
On
go.
him like Bret Hart.
Booker, quick! Turn back the hands of time
No,
so you can...
You got to come back. Booker, you got to come back. I will be the guy. Look at Nick Patrick's fucking mustache. Good God almighty.
Why is Nick Patrick as tall as Stevie Ray?
Dude, I was just going to say, like, I always forget how big Stevie Ray is until he's standing next to Booker, because I know how big Booker is, and then I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray's a monster.
Well, and it's so weird, too. Like you kind of forget because they have the exact same body, just one size up.
Yeah.
So like, you just remember them as being exactly the same.
Yep. They always seem like they have the straightest, stiffest legs. Like their knees almost don't bend.
Right.
It's crazy.
Except that talk about one of those guys like Booker T.
The freak athlete.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, no
and then honestly, we're gonna talk about underrated, overrated. Like he doesn't get talked enough about how good of an athlete he was, especially for his size.
For sure.
Definitely not.
For sure.
I have no doubt in my mind at this point in time, like he could have ran with Billy Gunn in the ring,
yeah.
For sure. Good tackle. Come on, Scotty Riggs.
Come on, Scotty Riggs.
So when I was watching this, well, it wasn't last night, it was tonight, because I fell asleep before this last night.
Anyway.
Can you...
that
hat, dude. It's been bothering me for a while.
I saw it earlier, but I only just noticed it again.
I feel like at my age now, there's no way I wouldn't have taken that guy's hat off of him and thrown it over the guardrail.
Oops.
Oh, sorry. Do you think Scotty Riggs can see out that eye patch?
No, not at all.
Really?
Look at how? I mean, it's an.
Well,
eye
no,
patch,
he did.
Jones.
He lost his goddamn eye. That's right.
Yeah, it's protecting the socket.
Who took his eye out? Was it Raven?
I don't remember.
I feel like it was Raven, and then he joined Raven's flock.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he comes back in a few years and goes back into the a pretty boy gimmick, and they say that he had surgery to fix his eye that Raven would never let him get.
Cybernetic eye. I mean, it makes sense.
I don't understand why he wore this eye patch for you. Although he was one of my favorites on NWO vs. the World because he had the eye patch. I mean, I was not watching wrestling when I played that game.
Oh, a pirate!
Yeah, I was just like, this guy's got an eye patch. This is awesome. I picked him so often. No idea who the flock was.
That's outstanding.
No idea who Scotty Riggs was. I was just like, look, eye patch, dude. Let's go.
Oh man, I liked a lot of the stuff Raven did in WCW. I mean, with the flock stuff, it was neat, but it was always just fucking jobbers, which was the point.
Right.
Right? So it was, like the highest profile guy was Billy Kidman, and then they brought in Perry Saturn,
right,
who they had big plans for.
Right.
And so did the WWE. I mean, at this point in time...
Billy Kidman never had... I mean, but Billy Kidman surprised them when he became a breakout star in the cruiserweight stuff, but that was...
Well, that's because he's 7 foot tall.
I don't know how to respond to that.
He's not,
I know.
He's like 4 inches taller than every other cruiserweight, though.
Well...
Lodi.
Call the action.
All right, I'm doing it. I might pee my pants, but I'm doing it. Takes down Lodi. Stevie Ray, just, man, a mountain of dude. Like, just enormous. Always forget. And I don't think Stevie Ray's underrated or nothing. Like, he's properly rated. He was always the powerhouse of this tag team. Great tag team, though. Like, awesome tag team. But Stevie Ray on his own, not so good. Not so good. Nick Patrick reacts to moves. He's one of my favorite refs. I mean, not because he's enormous and has the greatest mustache of all time. He's just a great ref. Like, his facials, his reactions are all great. It's amazing. Why is this match still happening? I feel like Lodi and Scotty Riggs are jobbers. Harlem Heat's the best tag team in the world at this point, and this match is still going on.
This match.
Oh, God, that was awesome.
Everything Booker T does is awesome.
Man. Oh, Scotty's pouting.
Scotty Riggs.
Look at Boner Hat guy just yelling at the flock, dude.
He hates the flock.
Oh, man. He's been yelling at him the whole show. I'll get these guys. Look at my hat.
Stevie Ray has no idea what's going on here.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
How do we do a...
This is a body slam? No, it's a suplex. Oh, okay. And Booker's like, you taught me how to wrestle. What the
I mean, just because somebody teaches you how to wrestle in this day and age, in that day and age.
Yeah, for sure.
Didn't mean they had any clue.
No, that's true. They've just been smartened up by being beat the fuck up one time. Scotty's taking time out. Oh! I didn't know Stevie Ray could do that.
Pump kick by Stevie Ray. Pick him up.
What are we? Why? That's the third time that's happened in this Nitro.
Dude,
God damn it. Hennig did it. Ming did it. Now Stevie Ray did it.
Dude, because this is like a great big old indie show.
God.
Nobody's paying attention to what anybody else does.
Can't wait for one of them to yell 5.
I loved that too, because that one was super indie, because I see guys on the indie shows all the time that try to do the pickup, but the other guy doesn't know they're going to do the pickup, so they just do so they kick out anyway, and so like it always looks bad.
I cannot believe this match is this long.
Dude, I told you, dude, this match can go straight to hell.
Yeah, you did tell me that. I just didn't realize that meant it was 20 minutes long. And we'd have to look at Boner Hat for the whole fucking match.
Dude,
look at that thing.
Super proud of that thing.
That's wizardry. He's a sorcerer.
What are you doing, Stevie Ray? What are you doing? He's got Lodi up and
dead.
Kind of a
something
Death Valley driver.
Yeah.
That was just like I'm a pop him up. I'm gonna throw him down. Send off for the scoop up. Here comes the axe kick. Oh, and Scotty Riggs has sat back down, but this match is over. Booker, the Harlem Heat with it's kind of like the heart attack side kick, heart attack axe kick. Man, I just don't even. There's Stevie Ray. Man, I really want to make fun of that gap in his teeth, but I'm not gonna. You could drive a car through Stevie Ray's gap. Here we go. Still congratulating them. Here we go. Now this axe kick, thing of beauty. Like nobody. So there are some moves you just shouldn't throw because somebody perfected them, and you'll never throw them as well. And the axe kick, if you can't throw your axe kick as well as Booker T, you should not be able to do it.
Woo! What a great finish.
The heart attack.
Yeah.
The heat attack.
Also, in this match, so we got. Did Tenay come in this match? Yeah. So Tenay came in at the start of this match to call the match. So it was Tenay, Heenan, and Rick Rude. And Rick Rude put over Harlem Heat so much.
Yeah.
I think Tenay came in that match.
I think you're right.
Somewhere in it.
I think you're right. Well, because they did the one match, and they had to... Like, Eric Bischoff had been sitting there. Like he had been there with, a good announce team before.
Yeah.
So he had to be sitting there listening to them go, this is bad.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
This is unlistenable to right now. And I feel like, oh, here comes Jericho. Hey, so I'm super happy because here comes Jericho, and he's totally entering to break the walls down.
That's awesome,
dude. I was so happy because they even kind of started like I was watching this with the sound on, and I remember even hearing like it started with that.
Really?
Yeah,
the countdown thing and everything.
And I was like, was there? I mean, they didn't put the countdown up, but they had that noise.
Oh my god!
And then it was like, break the walls down, and I'm like, is this real life right now?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
look, Conan.
They moved up to a seat. This is also when DDP's music was all screwed up and sucked. Because they had the Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit thing,
which was his. Did his music really suck, or was it just that we remembered how awesome it was when he entered to Smells Like Teen Spirit?
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
okay.
Like it wasn't DDP's music. Like that's why I was like, Smells Like Teen Spirit's coming.
Self high five.
I don't even think they did that at the beginning of it. They just
It kind of sounds like it's trying to be.
Yeah.
Like
this is grunge.
Oh. Well, I think it's interesting because so much of when you watch back some of these old shows, especially the Nitros, and some of the ECW stuff, so much of it has just been switched to the most generic, the most generic, unlicensed rock song they could pull up.
Yep.
On YouTube Music Maker, you know what I mean? That's what all these sound like. And then
on freedomain.com or
exactly.
Yeah.
But it almost sounds like they tried to replicate Booker T or not Booker T's Diamond Dallas Page.
DDP.
They tried to make it sound like Smells Like Teen Spirit. So you almost want to give it that kind of benefit for that, except that then it's like this isn't teen.
Here's something I just thought of. Here's something I just thought of. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this music came from Turner's library.
Right.
I wonder if that's the case with Jericho's and with DDP's. Like it wasn't that it was a ripoff of Smells Like Teen Spirit. This still belongs to Turner. They didn't get this music in the deal.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I didn't even think about that. Man, U.S. copyright law is something else.
Man.
Something else. Look at that choker.
Well, it's just I don't know what happened, but we don't even get, if you listen to some of the old stuff, we usually don't even get Dusty Rhodes music at the WWE.
So that was a deal between WWE and Jim Johnson, who did all that, and I don't remember the details of it, but there was some kind of lawsuit where, I don't know. I don't remember the details. Yeah. I've read about it before, and I don't remember, so I probably shouldn't even brought it up. But yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a deal, but I'm saying...
It was stuff that WWE we thought owned, but he claimed composership to it or whatever the hell, you know, and that's what happened with that. But yeah, you're right. You see that a lot on the network. Jericho is a babyface here. I don't feel like he's a babyface.
No, he is. He's still Lionheart here.
Still the Lionheart. Huh?
Yeah, they have not.
He has not started doing the Man of 1,004 holds.
Nope. Well, he totally came down on Buff's face right there. Look, Buff's still selling it.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
That was always a thing I remember reading about in this era. Like Jericho was stiff,
rough.
That's these other old timers saying stiff too.
Yeah.
Like that's not a knock on Jericho. It's these guys did not work this kind of style then.
Well, and to be fair, he had come from he came from Japan to ECW,
right,
to WCW.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that was the other thing I was about to say. Like, I don't ever remember anybody complaining about Benoit, who worked just as hard. Worked just as stiff.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think part of it is Jericho looks like a pretty boy. He's got the long hair. He's got the you don't expect him to beat the piss out of you. Benoit, like you show up and he looks like somebody who's going to beat the piss out of you.
Right? Yeah, yeah. You're right. NWO Nitro.
It'd be remarkable if Benoit was super light and easy to work with.
Right, yeah, that would be way more remarkable. Yeah.
I remember when Buff wrestled.
Yeah. Buff was not a bad wrestler, ever. Not even after his neck injury. Well, that was bad. That was also bad.
We've all had those moments.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or other.
But Buff looked like $1 million, and Buff could work.
Yeah.
Buff was not great, but he was good.
Yeah.
And he had a good finish that was original. The blockbuster, it's still used by 1 million people today. And that second rope neck breaker thing, and like he had charisma and everything. I think he was a bit of a train wreck. But he got arrested in our hometown once.
He did get arrested here, didn't he? That was even after he wasn't a wrestler. Then
it was. He was a wrestler. It was at a Thunder taping.
Well, I mean, he was a wrestler, but he was. That was after his neck injury when he didn't really wrestle anymore.
Well, he came back after his neck injury, but he was off for a while.
Well, he did wrestle after for a while, but he also became that guy because like he managed Scott Steiner, and he would have matches sporadically, but. You just got the feeling he was the guy that tried to avoid them after that. He would wrestle, and he was never like an actual manager or anything. But
and who screwed his neck up? Scott Steiner.
Was it Scott Steiner?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah,
I was gonna say I would have.
I think that was right around the. Right. I think that was right around the time Scott Steiner stopped giving a fuck about anybody else.
I don't remember that specifically.
I think it was.
I probably would have guessed that it was that he was one of the casualties of the Warriors trapdoor. Except that now that I think about it, that's obviously too late. I think that was in my.
Well, it would have been 98, but yeah, I think that was 99 when he got hurt.
I think I was gonna say
he was out.
Was it that late?
Yeah, that was late 98, man.
No way.
Halloween Havoc 98.
Okay. All right. Well.
That was Hogan and Warrior.
Yes, that was Hogan and Warrior.
He hit debut. Got hurt. Oh, no, I want to say, well, maybe it was 98 he got hurt. But you know what? And honestly, because...
he's not hurt here, so it has to be early 98.
Yeah.
But I would have guessed it was...
Honestly, at this point in time, him and Norton as a tag team, were kind of getting some traction. They were wrestling the Steiners. They were wrestling...
Vicious and Delicious, right?
They were wrestling Harlem Heat. And WCW still kind of cared about tag teams at this point in time.
Yeah.
And Vicious and Delicious, and they had a fun little deal going on, and it was a good old school type of tag team, the Bump Machine and the Powerhouse.
Right.
It was that whole Hart Foundation type of look, you know. And Buff was game for that, and Scott Norton was obviously game for it. So this is not Jericho's best match.
I'm not digging this match, man. I was just gonna say.
I don't think I could have dug anything on this show, man. After that deal.
I mean, if a match is good though, it's good. Like the tag match we just watched, Harlem Heat.
Yes.
Wasn't nothing wrong with that match, but it was boring and it was nowhere.
It was a 15-minute long squash match.
Yeah.
They beat up Lodi for 15 minutes.
They beat up Scotty Riggs for 5 minutes, and then they beat up They beat up Lodi for 10 minutes.
Right.
And then Scotty Riggs went and sat down.
Yeah.
They did the finish. And this match, I don't want to say it's bad, but both these guys are better than this.
It's uninteresting. There's no backstory. There's nothing here. It's a WCW guy versus an NWO guy. That's the only purpose it has here. And you say to yourself, Buff's good, Jericho's great, and they're going to have a good match. But there's no stakes. There's nothing here.
And they're not building the stakes.
What?
This isn't a match. This feels like a throwaway match. Not like these guys are working hard to tell a story and have a good match. It just feels like they're kind of doing stuff. There's nothing built in here. There's no it's not like they haven't given.
Oh.
That was like a
stun gun, but it looked like Jericho just got teabagged.
It's just they haven't. This isn't a good match.
Yeah.
Like all. Whether they're good or not, this match is just like. And I don't know if they thought like, let's go out there and we'll hit all our high spots and we're athletic, so let's keep it moving. But that's not how you have a good match, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. I gotta say, like over the years, Jericho, that double arm backbreaker thing, like he didn't give a fuck if he could do that to a guy or not.
No.
Like he just was, all right, we're doing this, and the guy would be like, oh, okay. Right. And then he never dumped anybody in their head, but like there was never a time where I was like, wow, he got all that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Ball game, blockbuster.
I liked
Pin him.
I liked the way they went into that finish.
Yes.
Kinda. Set him up on the top rope. Jericho sets Buff up on the top rope. Buff fights him off. Jericho recovers real quick, comes back in. Buff shoves him. Jericho does a backflip and lands on his feet.
Buff isn't selling a goddamn thing that just happened to him, though, and he just beat up a ref.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's NWO Nitro, that kind of thing.
That's right. He can do what he wants.
Yep.
And he can pose.
That match. That match has the feel to me of. I don't know how to explain it because it almost just felt like Buff didn't care at all, and like Jericho came up to Buff and he was like, I got this spot and I want to do this spot and we should do this thing and how about this, and Buff's just like, yeah, cool, whatever, I'm going over, you know what I mean, and like not in the way it's sort of the opposite because we know there are old guys who are like, I don't care about this match, I'm not doing anything. Right, and guys, it's like, okay, kid, I'm going over, but I'm not giving you anything. Like it almost seems like maybe Buff was kind of like, well, I'm going over, so I don't care what you do. We'll just do this match instead of trying to work with him to have a good match. You know what I mean? Like whatever you want, kid, just lay down for my blockbuster at the end.
Right. Yeah.
And
I would say that's a pretty good description of Buff's career. Like. I mean, not to be funny. Like if he gave more of a shit, like WWE was ready to make him a star.
For sure,
they were.
For sure,
he was one of the guys they brought in from the old takeover thing, and they're like, "Here we go. This guy's one of the guys." I bet this is awesome,
dude. So you haven't seen this yet, right?
No, I have not watched this.
Somebody
found Scott Hall.
We've got another 20. We've got another 20.
Kurt Hennig's title's backwards.
We've got another 20 minutes of Hogan appreciation coming up.
Jesus Christ!
Why
did we talk for an hour about the first 2 hours of this show?
I don't know, man.
We're the worst.
I don't know if we're the worst.
We're not the worst, but we're up there. K-Dog. Too sweet.
He saw all his buddies coming out from the.
Where's Virgil? There he is.
He's there. Right. Don't worry.
Somebody finally got rid of him. Oh, Rick Rude's off of commentary. So, all right.
Well, we got to have all the NWO guys in the ring. Hey, Hogan air guitaring that belt, man.
Got old,
dude.
That person's sign said I gave up 3 weeks in Hawaii to be at this Nitro, which cool, but also sad.
You made the wrong choice, bud.
Yeah.
How mad is that person?
Yeah. This Nitro's in, Macon, Georgia in December, which I'm sure doesn't suck, but it's not Hawaii. And this show sucks.
This show sucks a lot, dude.
Look at that guy. Yeah!
NWO, baby.
Oh, was that Sting?
I think it was.
In that fisherman's hat?
So.
This is like,
I think so.
This is like, I know what you did last summer. Like, just Sting's going to be everywhere.
He just shows up. Bischoff's got that stupid hat on. At least it's not a boner hat. I bet Bischoff wanted to go trade that dude.
In a second, I would have stolen that boner hat. Here, I'll give you this one. I'll autograph it later. I need that boner hat.
Yeah, I'll give you this and $500 right now for your boner hat. Don't worry, it's Turner's money.
Vince fears Hogan. But Vince is right there.
Vince
He's helping hold the
What's
sign.
Wrong, Vince?
Vince, why are you scared?
You don't have to fear me, brother.
Yeah. Why are you scared, bro?
Dude, this... I couldn't believe... When they came back out... So like, I had sat through all that earlier, and they did all that, and Bischoff kept doing...
You're on the list now.
I guess. Bischoff kept doing but wait, there's more. And then he comes back out, and they get in the ring, and they're like, he's like, we're back out for more Hogan appreciation. I'm like, what did I even watch the earlier segment for?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Why is this show 3 hours long?
Did you forget stuff while you were out here earlier?
We forgot the wrong motorcycle.
Dude.
Well, I gotta say though, I gotta say this. I have to say this if I'm gonna say something nice about anything we're watching. Eric Bischoff was great at this. This character, this shitty, abrasive heel, and it might just be who he is. I don't know.
Oh, look, there's a laser pointer.
Oh yeah. Somebody's cat's gonna chase that around the room.
What if Scott Norton was just like, hey, he's good. There's something on you, Hulk.
Oh my god! If it was Scott Norton, I'd just die. I'd pee my pants. Hey, you guys want some cocaine?
So they got Hogan.
This ring. Okay.
It's the ring. It's the ring of. It's a replica of the world title.
Oh.
So Hulk doesn't have to carry the world title around when they go out on Saturday nights.
Oh, great. Oh. Down on bended knee.
Well,
I'm sure Laurie Bischoff is
so stupid because Eric Bischoff gets down on one knee and he goes, Hulk. He goes, Hulk, will you do me the honor? And he gets down on one knee and he goes, with this ring, I, the world heavyweight champion. I'm just like, didn't think that one all the way out, did you, Bischoff?
We didn't do a walkthrough of this.
I bet that sounded real good in your head.
Yeah, Hulk wrote all this, so we don't know. This is a Hulk specialty.
Yeah, but so then they do this. So okay, so now they're doing. But wait, there's more.
I love that right behind him. It's Scott Norton, Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig grew up with each other, right?
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, also, boy, those...
and look at Hall and Nash back there, drunk.
For real, dude. They don't care at all.
Look at this old Sports Illustrated cover.
Well, that's what cracked me up. Like I felt like this was like I feel like
Top banana.
This was as big of a shot at the WWE as like anything that ever, because I mean, like, that was for WrestleMania 1, right?
Yeah.
That Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
So they've got the big banner of Hogan on Sports Illustrated, the only pro wrestler to ever grace the cover of Sports Illustrated, and they're pumping it up for him right now. And it was when he was with WWF, obviously. It was when, WrestleMania.
They did not put anything about WrestleMania or WWF on that cover, though. It was all about Hulk Hogan.
For sure. For sure. But I feel like that's, and I guess I feel like that's the shot that's
being
taken.
Sure,
here,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. Yeah. And how mad do you think Vince was when that was published?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
God damn it.
And then...
Thunderlips choking Balboa.
More. Yeah. Well, I also think it's hilarious. That's for sure a Stallone poster. Like, like they act like here's this poster of Hulk Hogan choking
with
Stallone.
Hair.
You can barely see Hulk Hogan. You see his arms.
Yeah.
You kind of see the Fu Manchu. Like you can barely see Hogan. That whole poster.
That's a cool fucking poster.
It's a cool poster. I put that up on my wall.
Yeah, I would too.
Don't get me wrong.
I'd own that poster. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
What's funny too is like that's the moment where Vince Sr. fired his ass.
Right.
Like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, like it is a dig. Yep. It's all digs.
And it's all these digs. Like what does
at the guy you're whipping the ass of, right?
No.
Oh.
What does any of this make me want to tune in for the pay-per-view for?
None of it.
You know, that's the real question here.
Right.
Like they aren't talking about Sting. Hogan's not scared of Sting. I'm not all of a sudden like, oh man, Sting is Hogan gonna get his comeuppance on Saturday? No, or on Sunday. I'm just like, yeah, what are we doing here, guys? We're sitting through more still.
Oh, let's go to commercial.
There's that.
Oh, here's the right motorcycle.
Here's that motorcycle.
Yeah.
And Hogan for sure drove that around, right? Like,
oh yeah, still does.
Still does. He keeps it updated. He's had it repainted a couple times.
Can his hips throw the leg over a motorcycle anymore? I don't know. That was mean. I'm sorry.
No, he built a platform. So he
jumps off it like it's a horse.
They lower the motorcycle, and then he walks up on the platform, and they raise the motorcycle under him. Nah, dude, he's got those brand new fake hips. I bet they're better than his when he was. I bet his hips now are better than when he was 23.
They're definitely better than they were when he wrestled The Rock.
Well, I'm pretty sure at that point they.
How would you like to back that thing out of there?
I would
have quit.
Yeah.
You drove this in here. You got to drive it out. Nope.
Do I?
Nope.
Here's the keys.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Here, have Vincent do it. Where'd everybody go? We got a match.
I gave the keys to the NWO's driver. Who?
Oh my God.
The NWO's driver. I think his name's Vincent. That's a racist joke.
That was. Oh yeah! Look at this pyro, huh? That's right.
He was like surprised by it. Too.
Yeah, he was.
Like he for sure thought he was getting shot, and he turned around and watched the pyros, and now he's so amazed he's got to go over.
I'm gonna go thank Bobby.
Yeah, tell Rick Rude about it.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Did you see that? It's beautiful. I had sparklers and everything.
What a show, man. Just is anybody running this? Cool.
No, that's the thing, right?
No, that's what Bobby Heenan and Mike Tenay are sitting here going like. Well, Heenan's not. He's probably a bottle and a half into gin right now.
Well, accepted where he's at.
Man,
I love the idea of Heenan as a gin drinker.
I don't know if that's a legit thing or not.
It has to be. If it's not, I'm going to be mad.
Oh! Well, I'll get this broom in here. Randy Anderson.
What's that broom?
I don't know.
Why did he throw that? Why did Macho Man
and why is it an old straw broom? Did somebody clean up a barn before this?
It probably is a barn. Look at that.
I don't know where they're at. I don't remember.
From the Cow Palace. And look, Lex Luger can't figure out how to get around.
No.
Which way do I go?
What's this monolith doing here? $1,000,000.
It's like, oh, it's a thing. What's that say?
I'm WCW though, brother.
What's in whoa?
Whoa. It's whoa. The end's silent. Oh. Got it.
Oh, man. This is my favorite Nitro. I take it all back.
No. You can't take it back because this sucks.
In this match, you haven't seen this match. Spoiler alert: this match is also bad.
But guys, we get Starrcade 97 after this, so don't quit watching us because this Nitro blows.
So what about
that Raw last week wasn't great either. We've let you down two bad weeks.
Do we just remember 97 wrestling as a different than it was?
Yeah, because we remember that was the Stone Cold year.
Because we were 17 and anything was cool.
Well, like the NWO never got old back then. Like it took another like year for it to get old. But you watch it now and you're like, ugh, why, guys?
I think it's such a huge. I mentioned this a little while ago. I don't know why I always do that. Like we talk.
Oh, we both do that a lot.
Yeah, we acknowledge like conversations that we had off that our fans, our listeners have no idea about, but we still.
I've consciously not said. I mentioned this to you earlier twice tonight.
Maybe I'll see. I'm calling myself out right now in hopes that maybe in calling myself out, I will not do it anymore. But
we're good at it.
Besides that fact, it is such a huge difference and so telling and so noticeable. We did that run of what 4 weeks of 96 Nitros.
Yeah.
And every building up to
it was like 6 weeks, but
building up to that Bash at the Beach. Oh yeah, we watched.
It was May to July. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But there wasn't a bad Nitro in there.
No, it was awesome, and that was the thing. Like we watched all of that and went like every single week. There was a couple things where there was at least one thing where we were like. We're getting Horseman versus the Rock and Roll?
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah. We're getting the Rock and Roll versus the Midnight?
And we had Mysterio and Malenko like 3 times or twice or something. Like something stupid. Like, right? Yeah, like where it was just like, well, that's something you never saw on TV then. And even now, which we see this kind of shit every week, it was still awesome.
Right.
It's
still better than what we see on TV now most of the time. Mm-hmm. For sure. And now we're sitting here watching this one episode that should be the lead-in, well, not should be, is the lead-in to what should be their biggest pay-per-view in the last 2 years, the culmination of the NWO storyline. And this is bad. It's bad. It's boring. Even the matches that are good are boring, and there's nothing. They're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything.
No, they're good despite what you're watching.
Right.
Like it's almost like to remind you, oh, this is why I'm watching this.
Barely, but not even that. I mean,
but that's the only redeeming part of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were.
Well, I mean, that was my point. I mean, even this match, there's like no stakes to it. Like, why is Luger fighting Macho Man? Who knows?
Well, it was. I
mean, NWO versus WCW. Okay, these guys are 2 big stars. Okay, but what's the point of this match?
Well, it was the whole thing. Like they were still focused on beating WWF, and at this point in time, like they had whipped the shit out of them.
Right.
Like we covered earlier, and it's almost like they were high on their own success. Like they didn't think there was any way this is ever going to end. Oh man, Lex!
Whoa!
Ow! There's no way this is ever going to end, right?
Right.
We're on top. Vince is going out of business. He took the water coolers out of Titan Tower, and we've been whipping his ass, and we don't have to innovate anymore.
Right.
We have our formula, and we could just keep doing it.
It absolutely seems like there was minimal thought put into this. It seems like there was more thought put into the segments with Hogan than there was for the whole show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, what are we gonna do? Let's just do this. They didn't even think about like oh, we gotta. I mean, they had a limo. You can just see them backstage, like all right, we're going to do this thing for Hogan, and I'm going to bring out this motorcycle that I got his face spray painted on, and then I'm going to bring out this stretch limo with some hot girls in it and a hot tub, and then I'm going to bring
Vincent.
I'm going to give him this ring that's just exactly like his belt. Jesus. Lex Luger making that dive, reaching for Randy Anderson.
Ah! I bet he did that when he did it.
High scoop press on Macho Man. What are we doing, guys? He's out. Randy Anderson.
No, he's dead. That was Lex's bionic forearm. Dude.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
right.
Randy Anderson might as well be dead.
Oh,
Buff's back.
Buff's back.
With a leather fucking skull cap.
So this is the first thing we've seen to build up to the pay-per-view that wasn't just a promo. Because this is that they're at the pay-per-view at Starrcade, it's Lex Luger versus Buff Bagwell for the title of Total Package. So,
well, that's not nothing.
That's I guess not.
I guess that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash is out here, 16 beers in.
Oh, the real giant. He did that powerbomb.
Yeah.
Powerbomb was slick.
Yeah.
Also, like, his powerbomb always looked great, and it looked pretty safe, and he just let the guy. But every time I hear him talk about that powerbomb, he's like, look, I just want a guy. I just picked the dude up, and then however he wanted to fall, that's how he fell. I'm like, Kevin, could you not ever care about anybody, Kevin Nash? Like, just one person. Could you do one thing? Could you do one thing that makes it seem like you gave a shit about anybody else on this planet? No, you can't, because you didn't.
I don't remember who I heard talking about it, but Bob Backlund was like, he ain't ever doing that to me again.
Yeah.
Might have been Bruce Pritchard or whomever, but like
I've heard that. I've heard that from more than one place.
Yeah, like
after he lost the world championship.
He did that powerbomb that way, where he just dropped the motherfucker.
Yep.
And Backlund was like, never again.
Yeah, he'll never do that to me again.
No.
Oh, Skittles, original food.
Oh, yeah. Those still exist. Skittles! Is that the end of the show?
No.
Fuck.
No, the end of the show. But wait.
Why would it end?
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Why would it end on a wrestling match?
I'm so happy you didn't watch this all the way, because now you get to see this.
God damn it. We saw the gobbledygooker like 2 weeks ago, dude. I don't know if I can handle this. Oh, no, I know what this is. Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
I bet you don't.
Because I remember this.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's the fake Hogan head. Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
This is bad.
Spoiler alert.
God, I can't believe this is this bad.
Dude, back out for more, dude.
It's not the fake Hogan head.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Look, I got all these flyers, guys. I collected the most.
I can't believe we're just back out here like okay, let's just do this again. And Hogan in his black yoga pants and his NWO, like, why did he even get dressed for this? Like, what?
Oh, he's got a great ass in those black yoga pants though. With the weight belt.
Yeah. Hollywood will take care of business at
Come
Starrcade.
on, those guys didn't even try. I'm not even going to try to explain what that sign should have been, but god damn, it was one letter. I've never been so offended.
So we're back. We've done this. We've done this now. This is the third time we're just doing Bischoff and Hogan in the ring.
Yep. But it's just them two this time, at least.
Promo.
Yeah. At least it's just them two. We got one more present, Hulkster. All right, brother. I got fingerless gloves on 2 fingers, but not my middle 2 fingers.
I was watching those earlier. Is that like a real thing? Is that like a biker thing?
I don't know what that is, dude. That's a mankind thing. That's a mandible claw thing, right?
Oh, man. I mean, that's... yeah.
He didn't have a full glove on. Because, Foley wouldn't have paid for a full glove.
It's like the reverse of a full glove. Hold on.
I'm just covering these two fingers.
There is no way Foley's little mandible glove mitten was not more expensive than any one glove he could have brought.
No, that's true.
Dude,
Who's this guy? Is this Nick Patrick's brother?
Yes, that's
Look at the size of him.
We talked about that's Dick Patrick.
Dick Patrick.
Here's his present.
Put your dick in a box.
Dude, look at his. What's wrong with his pinky?
He's
holding that.
Good God Almighty! How heavy is that thing?
I don't know.
He needed a lot of leverage.
Dude, that was awkward as fuck.
This is why you guys tune in, because we noticed the pinkies. Oh,
so here comes Bret Hart.
Here comes Jives and Bret Hart and Jives. Bret Hart's with the ladies.
Bret on the limo. So they had to back that up so Bret Hart could get in it, so they could surprise Bret Hart, because they've been talking all night about how Bret Hart's with the NWO. And why does Bret? I got to get my jacket.
Well, that's
just a little ways.
That's
back.
what he does.
Why, but why? Oh. No. Ah! So the
what present, is Bret Hart thinking right now?
The big shiny present comes out, and Hogan pulls it out, and it's a fake Hogan head, and Hogan can't believe it. He's horrified.
He screams.
and now there's Sting on the entranceway.
That's gotta be Sting.
He's got the zip line that he's got to hold on. I got it. Okay, there we go.
I got it now. Here we go.
But here's my favorite part. Here's my favorite part. Are you ready? Sting is on his way. He's ziplining to the ring.
Don't move.
He's ziplining. He's going to get Hogan. He's going to...
We're all out of time. We'll see you next week.
It's over. Nitro ends. Nitro ends before Sting puts his foot down in the fucking ring.
That's fucking atrocious. I can't get enough of it now. I was mad as fuck last night when I had to watch the first 2 hours of this, and I was like,
"It's so bad."
I was like, "This is our lead-in.
This
so
sucks.
Bad. It sucks.
It's so bad."
But that finish was everything.
No, you eat all the
a fake Hogan head.
I hate you. Fake Hogan head. Hogan's sell on that.
I mean, I think it's well documented now. Bret Hart was in the mob, and he did a lot of that fake Hogan head in the bed stuff.
Did he sent other guys fake Hogan heads?
Yeah.
Hate you.
Like, this is your prized horse, Hogan.
No.
Okay.
Nope. That's not how this works. That was bad. Nothing in that show made me want to tune in to see Starrcade. I guess at the time.
Not one thing.
I mean, I guess at the time, it's fair to acknowledge things were probably hot enough. You know, we mentioned that it seemed like they just kind of didn't care what happened, and they were probably at a point where they were hot enough that they didn't have to care what happened.
Yeah.
Everybody was paying to see Sting take on Hogan finally.
Yeah.
They didn't need to give a bunch away the week before. Like, okay, I get it. But I still feel like there was absolutely nothing on that to lead into... nothing that made me want to buy. I mean, they barely... Having watched it earlier and listened to the commentary, like... I mean, they talked about it nonstop, but they didn't say anything that made me want to see it other than, like... Larry Zbyszko and Eric Bischoff talked about it nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that got the coverage it needed. I don't know, man. This was a bad wrestling show.
Terrible. Terrible. Would have passed for good in 2020.
No. Wouldn't have. We watched it in 2020. It didn't pass for good.
Well, I mean, you know, compared to... Come on, Jern. Jern.
No.
Well...
I'm not coming on. You can't make me come on.
Okay, fine.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry we made you watch this pay-per-view if you did. Make sure, if you disagree, if you think we're being way too hard on this pay-per-view,
you're wrong.
Or not the pay-per-view, it's Nitro. If you think we're being too hard on this Nitro, if you have wonderful, loving memories of WCW from 1997, make sure you comment them below. You can also like and subscribe. And if you prefer the audio version, you can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, SoundCloud,
iTunes,
Google
Spotify,
Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast, we should be there. And if we're not,
tell us.
Let us know. We'll get there. Guys, thank you for joining us so much tonight. We will be back next week with part 1 of Starrcade 1997. Jonesy?
Yo.
Anything to add before we go?
I love this shit, dude.
This is fun. Even when it's bad. Even when it's bad, I have a blast doing that.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Make sure you always drink responsibly. We will see you next week.
Ching.